Disclaimer. Please do not harass anybody mentioned in the video, as it'll only make things worse. I'm not trying to force anyone to cut ties with Turbo, as that's your own decision. However, whether you're a fan of him or not, please be respectful to everyone and listen to what I have to say before making any judgments. Well, I guess for starters I should say that this is a follow-up video to my previous video going over the drama surrounding TurboTH, discussing all of the constant lies and manipulative statements he was making throughout the year. Now we're back for a second part, if you will, as Turbo, just like I expected, hasn't changed at all. He's still constantly lying and manipulating people, as well as other nefarious acts such as continuing to fake his depression, making a statement video full of lies, and targeting individuals for very shallow reasons, nearly driving one of them to almost take their own life. So let's discuss. So since the previous video, I've had Turbo, or one of his associates, most likely Turbo though, falsely report said video for privacy complaints. Now first of all, as you can see in this screenshot, the supposed privacy violation is 2 seconds in, where I mentioned Turbo's real name. If you have a look at his public YouTube channel, you'll see his real name and face right there in the open for anyone to look at. The same could be said for knowing he's from Siberia, as you can clearly see on his public Game Jolt page. As you can see by looking on my channel, the report fell through for obvious reasons. Now take a look at the date. This was in July. Now if you take a look at this screenshot, you'll notice the date is different. It's in August. Yep, either Turbo or an associate, still most likely Turbo though, decided to try again. And look where that got him. Absolutely nowhere other than making himself look even worse. Granted, I did reply to those emails but never got a response, so I'm not sure if it was an automatic email or not, or if anyone on the YouTube staff team even saw my reply, but as it stands, the false reports failed frantically, and even if the video did get taken down, I'd just re-upload it. Besides, that leads me on to my next points. Also, after my own video on the Turbo drama dropped, a new YouTube account simply called Unknown User also covered the drama surrounding Turbo, even going into detail with things that I didn't discuss, so I highly recommend you go check that video out as well, and maybe come back to this one after. Now, sometime after that, Turbo decided to upload a video that attempted to disprove the claims being made. He since deleted the video, but I downloaded it before the deletion, so I'm going to go over the video and show why it's just so absolutely stupid. Now right off the bat, he starts with some random ass TV show or opening or something, so you already know he's not taking this shit seriously. Second, he puts a disclaimer in Serbian, his native language, in an attempt to try and create a language barrier. Now I'm not Serbian myself, nor do I speak Serbian, and I don't have any Serbian friends either. But I'm also not going to pay a dumbass price for a mid at best translator, so please excuse the fact that Google Translate can suck ass. Here's what the translation is roughly, so let's dissect it. Firstly, how ironic of you to say that covering your video without permission is prohibited when you literally do the exact same fucking thing in this very video. Next, more irony that you also supposedly prohibit insults and hate when you quite literally do that on the daily. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. And lastly, funny how you also supposedly prohibit impersonation of your mods team when you impersonated Pico back in January. Clearly you didn't put enough effort and thought into this badly written disclaimer to think, I'm being ironic here, maybe I shouldn't say this. But anyway, the rest of the video is mostly English from what I can see, so let's continue. Throughout the video, Turbo was showing literally half a second of clips from the Unknown User video and inserting unfunny and poorly made memes in between. As is obvious enough already, Turbo isn't taking this seriously in the slightest, so why should I listen to what he has to say? But for everyone else's sake, I did still go through the video, and everything he say lacks legitimate evidence to back up his claims. Just like back in January, he still hasn't learned the basics of these types of videos. He just hopes that his brainwashed fans will take things at face value without doing research first, because most of them are children anyway, such as this person. They openly admitted to being 12 years old and one of Turbo's associates. Why is Turbo allowing underage people to be on Discord? He simply just doesn't care anymore and will overlook the Discord terms of services in order to get his way, which for context, you need to be 13 years old or older to be using Discord. However, I do want to point out one particular lie. As you can see here, Turbo claims that Unknown User sent this message. First off, the poor grammar in comparison to unknown user's video doesn't match up at all, and secondly, here's who actually sent that message. A user known as either Uila or Uile. It's a bit hard to tell due to the blurriness of the screenshot, but you can clearly see this is not unknown user. Why would someone maintaining their anonymity suddenly give up on that? It's simple, they wouldn't. All the things I'm going over will be in a Google Drive link in the description, so you can go through all of the lies in the video if you wish, which by the way is included in the folders. You can't hide your bullshit claims, Turbo. This also brings me on to my next point. Now, as you saw in the screenshot I provided, the account known as Sonic.exe Void of Darkness team account sent the screenshot of whoever Uila/Uile is, most likely either Turbo himself or one of his associates. If you go back and watch Unknown User's video, which is also included in the drive folder for archival purposes, you can see all the evidence you need to prove that this VOD team account is just Turbo again. And to add on to that, the way that the VOD team account sends messages is almost identical to Turbo, especially with the use of broski, as you can see here. Also going back to the second screenshot with Uila/Uile, you can see Turbo says, "Now your prayers to Starshine and Crystal is here." After that happened, Crystal was harassed and attacked for literally no reason by Turbo and or one of his associates, who he calls the Indie Makers team. What a stupid ass name. Indie Makers team have you surrounded. You can see Turbo is trying to be intimidating here, but just comes off as a complete parents' basement dwelling Discord incel with a nerd emoji smacked on top. Also, take a look at this. Turbo just pulled a random stock image from Google to use as his profile picture, but then if you look at his bio, you'll see that he claims to have been last seen on August 17th, which clearly isn't the case from harassment towards Crystal. If you refer back to my previous video, I discussed why depression and suicide are nothing to joke about, so Turbo faking depression is outright offensive. After all that, we reach honestly the worst part of Turbo's manipulative and aggressive lies. For those of you who don't know, Israel Games is one of the developers of Sonic CD, the VHS tapes, which Turbo has previously shown hostility to alongside all three developers of the game. Turbo decided to harass each member in more ways than one, but in regards to Israel Games specifically, Turbo harassed them so much that they were driven to nearly taking their own life. This is the message that Israel Games sent to one of their friends before going offline for at least a couple of days from August 12th to August 14th. The note is in Portuguese, but despite the previous rough translation with a Serbian disclaimer from earlier, I managed to get a highly accurate translation of the note with some footnotes included. Feel free to pause the video to read it. However, please do not panic. Israel did not take their own life, and as of writing this script, September 1st at 11:25 PM UK time, they are in a much better mental state. However, this does not excuse the fact that Turbo caused so much harassment towards Israel, both directly and indirectly through himself and his goons, that Israel nearly took their own life. Suicide is not something to joke about, like I said in my previous video. And so, like, to know this after Turbo faked his own suicide is absolutely vile. So all in all, Turbo still hasn't learned from his mistakes at all, and is still constantly lying and manipulating everyone he can, and also drove someone's mental health so low into the grounds that it nearly caused them to take their own life. Now, like I said in the start of the video, it's up to you if you want to cut ties with Turbo or not. You may have your reasons to keep supporting him despite all this, and disregarding my own opinion on that, I still ask that, whoever you are, do not harass anybody involved. If you do not wish to support Turbo anymore, simply cut ties by blocking him. I also recommend reporting the lies as well for misinformation. If you know anybody that has been manipulated by Turbo, please talk to them and show them not just this video, but my previous video and the unknown user video. But with all of that said, farewell for now.